G'day guys. I've been meaning to make this video for a while because I've increasingly been feeling that this feature simply doesn't fit the game or the gameplay like it did in Battlefield 1. As such, I wanted to bring conversation to the bayonet charge and ask the question, does it need to change? We'll start with the context. Of course, if you're familiar with Battlefield 1 or 5, you'll already know what the bayonet charge is. It was an homage to the tactic used in World War I, wherein your character enters a full-speed sprint for a few seconds with the chance to one-hit melee kill the first enemy you come into contact with. Missing and hitting nobody meant a speed penalty for the duration of the ability cooldown. It's probably best remembered for its cheesy application of point-blank insta-kills and ability to one-shot the elite kits in Battlefield 1. Especially in Battlefield 1's early life when the ability was overloaded with damage reduction, ability to strafe, and a normal turning speed. Now, how exactly has it changed from its Battlefield 1 version? DICE have made some interesting adjustments to the ability in Battlefield 5. First, the pros. Now, in Battlefield 1, you're supposed to receive an ADS after sprinting penalty, and an accuracy debuff of some kind. However, in-game testing by people showed that this was never actually applied in any meaningful manner. I guess this is technically a buff to the Battlefield 5 bayonet charge, even though these debuffs were never applied in the first place. The blood-curdling scream in Battlefield 1 that rivaled the volume of your footsteps in the last patch have also been reduced, at least according to my mate. This is where the interesting design choice from DICE comes in. To balance these buffs to the bayonet, DICE decided to remove the sprint speed of the charge, and you now run at the same speed as a normal soldier running. This I take huge issue with. For one, you now look like a complete dickhead running after a guy you're never gonna catch. And forgive this realistic take on a gameplay element, but doesn't it seem a little silly that my character runs out of breath and has to take this break because he ran at the same speed as everyone else? Talk about dramatic, dude. In all seriousness though, I think this change takes away the only tactical application this feature would have had in Battlefield 5. And since elites aren't in the game, that application is charging for cover. That extra speed often meant the difference between reaching the other side of that clearing and being taken down in Battlefield 1. And the sudden change in movement speed could throw people leading you off, increasing your chances of survival. As a side note, 9 weapons can use the bayonet specialisation, and for the most part I think DICE actually did a good job of selecting the weapons that will most potentially benefit from the spec. The sniper rifles for obvious reasons, weapons like the M1907SF and FG42 because they have small ammo capacities, and the MP34 because it is a longer range SMG that is slow firing, although that one's stretching a little bit. Additionally, the class specialisation Medics have that increases takedown speed has a cool interaction with the bayonet. A trench gun also has it, because reasons? I said at the beginning that I feel this feature currently doesn't hold a place in Battlefield 5. Now why is that? Well, for one, time to kill is lower in this game than it was in Battlefield 1. When you combine this and the fact that you don't run faster anymore, there's simply no chance you're getting to a target unless they suffer an aneurysm midway through shooting you, or if you abuse corners for point-blank takedowns. Thematically speaking, I do think the bayonet charge has its place in Battlefield 5. It was a cool nod to the war in Battlefield 1, and while cheesy, I know I enjoyed it while it lasted. I just think that while the Japanese aren't in the game, the bayonet charge doesn't really serve a thematic purpose like it did in a World War I game in Battlefield 1. But I understand that authenticity is a poor argument in this case, so we'll move on. Just given how quickly you die in Battlefield 5, I found that I only succeed with the charge if I strike from behind. And at that point, why not just shoot or backstab the target with my melee weapon? It's quicker, it's quieter for sure. The purpose of this video for me was to drum up conversation about the bayonet charge. It kind of pisses me off, to be honest, when I see people commenting things like, it deserves to be in the dumpster, shit feature, or just don't use it, lol. These are never good reasons for a feature to be borderline useless. At that point, why not just remove the charge entirely? For what it's worth, I always thought the concept of the bayonet was cool, so why not just instead brainstorm ways DICE could change or improve the ability to be more useful instead of the whole apathetic, who cares argument. I'm by no means a game developer, so my ideas are probably terrible, but that's the point of this section, to create ideas and build off them. So here are some of my concept changes to make the bayonet charge a bit more useful in Battlefield 5. Option 1. keeping the bayonet charge as is, with some change. I think this is the boring option personally, but giving the charge back its speed increase will give it back some much needed utility and usability. I don't think the lack of an accuracy penalty warranted this adjustment in the first place to balance the specialization, so I think giving the power back to the bayonet charge would definitely help it, do something. It just needs to do something. It does nothing in Battlefield 5 at the moment. Alright, so let's have a bit more fun. Option 2, my idea was giving bayonetable weapons an empowered melee attack rather than a charge when you have the weapon equipped. Perhaps giving it a heavy melee weapons damage model, but a faster attack. I don't know how I would feel about the complete removal of the bayonet charge, but with its current issues in game, I always feel more confident using my actual melee weapon over the charge. There's less chance to miss, it's less likely for my opponent to react when they're turned away, and I can always continue using my gun if things get messy. I mean, maybe DICE decide to lose their minds entirely, put the bayonet in the melee weapons section. It'd probably break the balance, but hey, make it so that you have to sprint to use the bayonet and it'll two-shot someone. I don't know. It's an idea. It's something that they could try. I just think there's got to be a way to change up the bayonet to be a bit more fair and fun to choose in the spec tree. Because at the moment, I don't really feel an urge to pick it over pretty much all the options you have in the spec trees right now. Well, if you're still with me through this, I think 1200 word essay I wrote, I really appreciate the support. Thank you for watching. If you've got any ideas for changing the bayonet, I'd love to hear it, because I really don't think it deserves to be in the spot it is right now, where it's borderline useless with how niche it is to use. I just hate that this feature in the game is almost entirely unusable, because it's just bad, in my opinion. And maybe you disagree. Maybe you've found the bayonet charge usable. I just don't. I think it's bad. Alright. Anyway, so if you've got any ideas, comment it. I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching.